Okay, so now that we have a completed sketch, so our two-dimensional shape, we want to convert this into a 3D object. So we're going to do what's called creating a solid. So a solid just means it's something with volume. So I'm going to make sure that the sketch I made is selected. In this case, you can see how it's gray. That means it's not selected. So I'm going to go over here, find where it says Sketch 1, left click on that. And now we can see the outline is gone, this light blue color, and all of my dimensions are visible. So I've got my sketch selected. I'm going to go up to my Features tab here. I'm going to click Extruded Boss / Base. That just means that we're going to take our shape that we drew and we're going to extrude it like a piece of Play-Doh, which is pretty much what I want to do. So over here, I've got some options. I want to have this set to blind, which is what it should be. And for this dimension, I'm going to type in 1.1 inches. So 1.1 and hit enter on your keyboard. It should look like this when you're done. And then hit the big green check mark up at the top. Perfect. So now we have a volume that is roughly the shape of our hammer. It's still missing some details, but we're going to add those in just a second. So the next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding the cutaway, the slot at the top up here. So to do that, we're actually going to add another sketch to define the shape of that slot. I'm going to go back to my Sketch tab and I'm going to click Sketch again. But now when it asks me to pick a plane, I'm actually going to click on this top face. See how it's got an orange outline? So I'm going to left click here one time. And now I'm actually drawing a sketch on this top plane, which is what I want to do. I can draw that curve with the straight lines in between the channel to create the slot, but it would be much easier if I could just do that automatically. So I'm going to go over here and use the straight slot tool instead. So let's left click on that, go somewhere over here, and let's left click one time. We'll draw a horizontal straight line. That's going to be the middle of the slot. Left click again. And now I'm going to come out. You can see how that makes a wider or skinnier slot for us. So let's bring it out to around here. And now we've got our slot ready. Now I just need to dimension it. Go back to Smart Dimension. Left click on that. I'm going to add a dimension of 1.75 inches from this edge to that corner, to that center of that slot. So that means I'm going to wait until hover over until it's orange, left click, go to that middle point, left click, and drag it up here somewhere, left click, and let's type in 1.75, enter. It shifted it over for us. Now this one, this corner, or this point rather, is going to be 2.1 inches away from the edge. So I'm going to left click here, left click on that point, drag it up, type in 2.1, enter. And then the last thing I need to do is set my vertical position. So I want to put it halfway. You guys remember I extruded it 1.1 inches from here to here. Half of that is going to be 0.55. So I'm going to click on this line, click on that horizontal line, bring it over here, and just type in 0.55, hit enter. The last thing I need to do is I need to define how wide that slot is. I'm going to do that using basically the radius of this curve. Click on that. You guys can see how it's gone orange. Left click on that, drag it out, type in 0.26 and hit enter. That's going to give the width of that slot. So at this point, I've got this shape fully defined again. I don't need to add any more detail. That means I can click over here, exit my sketch, and at this point, I can just rotate my part. I'm going to hold down that scroll button and rotate my part a little bit so I can see it better. And with that sketch selected, so you can see how it's blue, I'm going to go over to Features, left click on that, and instead of extruded boss, I'm actually going to do extruded cut. So let's left click on that. And it's giving me a pretty good idea of what it's going to do. So it's going to cut all the way through my part there. Over here, I'm going to change that from blind to through all. That just means go all the way through the part and click the big green check mark. And now we've got a hole going through our part, which is kind of what I was hoping to see here. Great. Now we're going to add the chamfers, which are the 45-degree edges, the bevels that are going to go all the way around here. And I can do that automatically as well. So under the Features tab, over here, I've got Fillet, and if I click the arrow, I have Chamfer. So I'm going to left click on Chamfer. And you should get a window that looks like this. So over here, I'm going to make sure I have full preview selected instead of partial or none. So full preview. I'm going to put my chamfer size as 0.03. Enter. And 45 degrees is what it should be set to, and that's what we want. Now I'm going to select the 3 faces I want chamfered. So I'm going to click in the middle of this one. Make sure you don't have a line hiding underneath like that. Make sure you're over top of this gray area like that. You can see there's nothing else popping up. There's just a faint orange outline around this outside. So let's left click here. Hold down that middle scroll wheel. Move your part over. Go to the opposite side. Left click here. And we're going to left click this square face on the end as well. And now we've got our part looking like it's going to be chamfered. This viewport's kind of gotten out of my way a bit, so I'm going to scooch it over. I'm going to hold down the left control button, hold down my scroll wheel, and just bring that view over to the middle. At this point, I'm going to hit the check mark on here, and I've got this part chamfered. So all I've got left now is to add my 7-degree taper at this top edge here. So I'm going to use the chamfer tool again. I'm going to click on that drop down, hit chamfer, and I'm going to click this top edge. So make sure you've got this orange line selected, not this one. Left click, and over here it says edge 1, full preview. That's what I want. And now my dimension is going to be 0.25. You can hit 0.25 and hit enter. And then you're going to have, instead of 45 degrees, we're going to hit 7 degrees. So 7 degrees has made it 7 degrees from this flat surface. We actually want it to be from this surface. So what we're going to do instead is hit flip direction. And that's going to make it go down 1/4 of an inch and have a taper of 7 degrees like that, which is what I want to do. So that's the shape I'm looking for. I'm going to hit my check mark again, and I've got that top chamfer done. Now that the top chamfer is done, I'm going to do the exact same thing on the bottom. I'm going to rotate my model around. Grab that chamfer tool, pick my edge. In this case, it's remembered the settings from before and it looks right, so I'm ready to hit my check mark. And there we are. So at this point, this hammer is now complete. It's got all the features done, it's got all these bevels on the side, and it's got the taper on top, and the shape is already correct. So at this point, we're done creating our solid, and we're ready to go to the next step, which is creating the drawing from this solid.